Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Do you ever have old apples sitting around at home and you don't really know what to do with them? Do you throw them away, or is there some kind of recipe that you can use to use them up without getting rid of them? So there is a couple different things that you can do with them, but one of my favorite easy things to do with them is to make apple butter. So apple butter is a fantastic fall treat, and you would think that it is ridiculously hard to make, but it's actually not. And using my handy dandy mini crock pot, I can make up a small batch of apple butter within about a night. And it's a really great way to use up your old apples that just aren't great for outright eating anymore. And Nathan loves to have apples around, so I often find myself with apples that are a little bit past their prime, but of course I don't want to throw them out. So I'm just going to show you a really quick and simple recipe for apple butter. I do recommend using a crock pot or a slow cooker because that's what makes it easy. It does have to cook for a long time, so you're going to end up cooking it for about 8 to 10 hours to get it to the apple butter stage. But that's all time that you can be asleep, you can be away from your home, as long as you've got a slow cooker to do it in. So the first thing that we're going to do, of course, is prepping our apples. And so I'm going to peel them, cut out the core, and if there are any like really bad spots, I can cut those out as well. And then we'll see what we're left with from my 4 apples here. Alright guys, so here's my little crock pot full of apples there. You don't have to be too concerned about what the size of them is, because they're going to cook so long that once you stir them up, they should kind of just mash together and be that apple butter consistency that you expect. So you can actually make applesauce out of this as well, and applesauce you just wouldn't cook as long, so you can just do the apples if you want unsweetened plain applesauce and just cook it for probably about half the time. I would just watch it a little bit more carefully than I do the apple butter, just to make sure that it's not cooking past the point of applesauce. So for the apple butter, I do like to make mine spiced, and I am going to add a little bit of brown sugar. Now, your apples actually do have a considerate amount of sugar in them, which you'll find if you ever just do making the applesauce. A lot of times I find that I don't need extra sugar for making the applesauce because they're already so sweet. But of course this will vary depending on your apples. So like if you're using Granny Smith apples and you want to make them sweeter, absolutely consider using some sugar. And for this application, since it is apple butter, I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar today. But I don't like to make mine super sugary. I like it to have a little bit of sweetness, but just not too much, not to where it's like overpowering. And then I'm also going to use some cinnamon, of course, probably about half a teaspoon of this. It's going to vary depending on how many apples you have, but about half a teaspoon for this, which was 4 apples. And then I'm also going to add in today a little bit of allspice. Now I don't want to add too much of this because it is a fairly strong spice, but it's going to give it a nice earthiness, a nice depth and warmth to it, and I just want that today. So I'm going to add in probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon of the allspice, not very much at all. and then just give your apples a quick little mix. You don't need any kind of water or anything like that. You can add some if you want to, if it makes you feel better, but you will find that after you put this on, the apples will release some of their water content, and you don't really need to add additional water. So I mean, it's really simple. This is gonna go in my crock pot and go on low heat for, like I said, about 8 to 10 hours while we're sleeping tonight. And then in the morning, I'll have nice, fresh, hot apple butter. And I will probably end up freezing this batch because I already have a batch in my refrigerator right now, so I don't actually need another batch. But you can also do other things as far as the flavoring. If you wanted to, you could do like some orange zest in here or some dried orange peel. That would be really good. Excuse me. That would be really good, especially if you were doing it for like Christmas gifts. You can add ginger in here, nutmeg. You can just do a apple pie spice mix or pumpkin pie spice mix. There's a lot that you can do with it to kind of tweak it and make it the way that you want it and just get those subtle flavor notes in there that you want. You could even add vanilla extract if you wanted to, something like that. So there's a lot of room to play around with this, but what I really like is just how simple and easy it is, but what a good end resulting product. And actually, while I'm talking about it, I'll show you my finished apple butter. So this is the finished product. This is the batch that I made before this. If I can get it open. Okay, that took a little bit of gumption there. So this is the finished apple butter. It's nice and dark brown, which is what this should look like when it's finished. It's got some chunks of apple in there, but not big chunks at all. It's more of an applesauce consistency. And I really like the way this batch turned out. It's sweet, but it's barely sweet. It's not overpowering at all. So you get the strong apple, but not a whole lot else. You get the background flavors of the other things, but not anything that's overpowering. So it's really good on toast in the mornings. So hopefully you guys will try this out the next time you have some old apples that you need to use, or fresh ones. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have any questions for me, just leave me a comment. Bye-bye.